What's up, everyone? So, I saw the Elite 16 draw for the road to the BAL. It happened about 4 days ago, and I'm following the Kenya Ports Authority. That's my team representing Kenya. So, they have been pooled in Group A. They are going to match up against Cape Town Tigers, NBA Academy Africa, and Urunani Basketball Club. And I'm kind of shaky about that matchup because the way they matched up against Jabal Club and KPA, I just saw a lot of chinks in their armor, which if they don't fix them, it's going to hamper their productivity and their progress, especially when it comes to participating in the tournament like the BAL. So I might just start from the jump. Number one, I saw there was a couple of roster additions. Couple of roster additions. The KPA side just decided to go get some players and just fill up that roster, and it puzzled me that given the fact that there's that roster, that group of guys that won the KBF finals, and they put them in that position. The question was, why wouldn't the KP organization let those same guys, those same athletes compete with the same unit, because they had a cohesive unit that knew each other on the court and had good chemistry? Why didn't they just proceed with that instead of adding new players and disrupting the chemistry? So that was one thing that I saw that was really, it really stunned me, caught me off guard, because I was not expecting a roster overhaul. There are some players that I'm used to seeing in that side, and when they play in Nairobi, but when they went out for that for those two games in Madagascar, I was actually shocked. I was looking at, this is not the same KPA roster that I am used to seeing. So given that, they fared pretty well. They actually blew out Jabal Club. It was a no contest, 120-37. So Jabal Club just did not know how to play basketball that day, and KPA just exploited that. So I'm not gonna go read into that, because a couple of players had good games, but they're just beating up on a team that was not there presently. They are not there at all. They just wanted to get out of there. Then we have the game that KPA dropped by 6 points. They matched up against KPA, a team that went unbeaten and finished number one in their group. And they were up. And there's this point, this game was just a seesaw. KPA just had the grit. They already beat up on Jabal Club. And the second win they picked up against KPA. So this game was just pretty, it was just a seesaw. And I saw a lot of things, especially closing out the game, that KPA just didn't know how to do. They didn't know how to close out the game. They didn't know who was the number one primary scoring option. They didn't even have a 1, 2nd, or 3rd scoring option in the roster. So it was pretty difficult for a team like KPA to even adjust offensively, especially in closed game situations to close out the game. So when I saw that, I was so surprised, because we are matching up against a team like Cape Town Tigers, who have already been to the BAL. They already know how to play that type of basketball, and they're going to bring that type of basketball here. Urunani, you saw what they did. They wreaked havoc against the teams in their group. I'm not gonna go too much detail on that, but they're also a force to be reckoned with. And also the NBA Academy Africa. I'm not sure why these guys are here, but I mean, it just caught me by surprise. I was like, why is NBA Academy Africa here? But with that, I'm pretty sure that they're going to also pull up one hell of a fight. But I feel like if the KPA side just learned how to manage their roster pretty well and just not add players like that, things would have been different. Because the way that they did that slight roster overhaul really disrupted the team's chemistry. There was no coherence on offense, on defense. People didn't know what they are supposed to do. I saw a player there. You're not even on the roster. We have not even played for that team for the longest time. You're given heavy minutes. So it was then taking away from players who have actually been on the roster and they're given like less minutes. So that's good. That's just going to be the Achilles heel. I don't know if they're going to be able to turn it around because if they continue the same way, I mean, a lot of teams are going to pick up on that and they're going to exploit KPA. So KPA domestically, they are the team to reckon with. They are the heavy favorites to go back to back. They are the reigning defending champions. But when you go up against a team on the next level, I can just see a situation where more often than not, they don't have a right strategy to win games. Also, even on the women's side, in Zone 5, I just saw the same thing. You have a situation where they're just adding new players and plugging them in. And one thing I must say, this is not like NBA 2K where you can just plug in players and you just expect them to, work together. You have to make sure that they fit. You have to make sure the chemistry is there, and they have to and the team and the management of that team has to make sure that team has been preparing and prepare these guys mentally and have chemistry. And chemistry is only developed with players who have been playing together for quite a while now. So if you have a situation where you're just plugging in players and expecting them to produce and, get to that level, sometimes less is more. Just go with the roster that my best advice is, I'm not sure if they're going to take it, but my best thing is just pick a roster and just use the roster that you use to win the finals. Instead of just going on overhauling the roster and adding more pieces to what you already have and disrupting the chemistry, why don't you trust that group of guys to deliver it? Because you trust them enough to deliver in the KBA finals. Why don't you trust them in the next level and not add like a lot of people there who have not been on the team and they're just disrupting the team chemistry? And if they just continue, just retooling and adding more players in there for, international assignments, I mean, it's just going to affect the team chemistry and they're going to drop games. So my best advice is, man, just keep the roster that won the KBA finals and just continue. So, I mean, also Group B, got Ferroviário da Beira. They made the BAL. Cobra Sport, they also made the BAL. City Oilers, just entered the chat. And KPA, the team that gave us that L. They're in Group B. So it's going to be very exciting. I just can't wait to see this. And I'll just be here to just, drop my 2 cents on what I've seen. And I'm out. Peace.